Welcome to the MaryLee Herrmann Show, road trip version. Woo! Yep, we're on the road now. On the road to nowhere. You are here with me in my 2002 Subaru Forester, who sadly, for now at least, isn't going anywhere. We are parked at Steve's Auto Repair. A few days ago I was driving and I heard a weird noise, and I better put on my seatbelt, right, for this road trip, for this journey about to share. I was driving along and it started making a weird noise, and I thought, I better go to a repair shop. However, I was on the highway, and a few minutes later it just stopped. She just stopped. She was done. I was able to roll over to the shoulder, and luckily it was middle of the day and the weather was fine and I was in a safe place, and I had her towed here to Steve's Auto Repair. Well, the next day, after they'd had a chance to look her over, they said that it was likely a timing belt, which actually we'd kind of probably figured by then too, that was likely the issue. However, what I wasn't expecting, because I don't know much about cars, was any other time that she's had a problem, we've always been able to repair. And if you see a lot of police cars going by, it's not that I'm in trouble. I'm parked this place is right behind the police station, so what a better place for her to be nice and safe, right? So I anytime she's needed a repair, it's like, okay, not crazy. Other door closed. So much for air. And I, would just, okay, how much is it going to cost? Well, she has 174,000 miles on her now. I said she's from 2002, got her in September of 2001. And so they pretty much said that they wouldn't even bother doing you'd have to pull out parts of the engine, and good morning, birds. You'd have to pull out parts of the engine and to investigate, because I was in motion, it's likely that some of the valves were destroyed and are damaged, therefore causing engine problems. The point being that between what it would cost even to investigate, plus she obviously needs repairs, it's time for me to let her go. I say her because meet Susie, as one of my nephews sweetly named her years ago, short for Subaru Forester. And she and I have been through so much. She has been just a constant companion these last 20 years. We've traveled from Ohio, where I purchased her, lived there for a little bit, and while I was there, and then we would travel to Colorado, where my sister and her family live, and in Boulder. I wasn't living out here yet. And to Texas, where I have a brother and his family. Ohio, Colorado, Ohio. Road trips from various points all over. And she's just been there for me. She's just a dear friend now. She's just a dedicated, loyal Susie. When my nephew, Cubby, now he's in his 20s and goes by Porter. And I remember we'd have so many adventures in my car, and we'd go everywhere when I could come out here, and we would well, we'd walk a lot of places actually, but Subi took us a good number of journeys also. And anytime, oh, I can hear him now sitting in the back seat in his car seat, and I'd accidentally go the wrong way, or I wasn't sure where I was going, and I'd make a wrong turn or such. And we had a song, and it was in this car that we wrote our little song, turn around day, must be turn around day, 'cause I went the wrong way. Oh, and then his little brother came along, Tig, and Tig had one of his very favorite things to do was sit in my lap, sit right here, and pretend to be driving Subi. It must have been some kind of fun feeling of power, or just how everything felt in this particular car, because he did it in other cars too, but just Subi was his favorite. And my sister would go a little nuts because it's a green Forester, and in Boulder there's tons of green Foresters, so every time my nephew would be like, and MaryLee, thinking it was always me. It wasn't always, but it was often, and we'd spend a lot of time together just sitting here, not even moving, though not in a car repair lot. One of the toughest reasons, though, why this is so difficult for me is because my daddy helped me pick out every single car I've owned. From my very first car, which actually he picked out and was my high school graduation present, it was a Ford Galaxy. My first car was a huge Ford Galaxy. Oh my gosh, it's a good thing that I'm good at parallel parking, or maybe that's how I became so good at it. And it was green, actually the same color. Oh wow. What a coincidence, the same color, my first car, as this car, which Daddy also helped me pick out too. And I remember it was 2020, and it was my last car, Sentra, the clutch had gone out and it was time. And so we started looking around, and after thinking about it, Daddy and I talking about it, figured that I wanted some kind of like small sport utility would be a good fit for me. And, you know, I'm a young woman, I've got a lot of adventures, and who knows what I need to bring along. And we looked at the Ford Escape, and I remember going up a hill, test driving it, and I was like, Daddy, it's hardly going. And he's just like, yeah, I think that you might like a manual, because it has fun. I just would have to push the pedal. He says, you're a little bit of a control freak, so maybe we'll try a manual. And I had driven manual before, I'd had one. He said, so maybe we should stick with that. And I'm not sure if the Escape didn't come in that, or I just didn't care for the Escape overall. And really what it came down to, the Kia. He had read that the Kias that people, the smell of them lingered so long. So that Kia was out. And a couple others. Excuse me, I need some water. A bit emotional. And so it came down to the RAV4, the Toyota, and the Honda CR-V, and the Subaru. And something, I don't remember exactly what it was, even though I was a little offended, because when we were on the Subaru lot, we went to one place and test drove them, and then we were driving other cars, and then tried some of the others, and then we happened to be at another lot, and the guy was trying to sell me on the cup holders. And he mentioned to me that there was no vanity mirrors, no mirrors on the visors. Yeah, he mentions this, and I'm kind of like, not that I know much about cars, but I'm kind of like, well, how much pickup does the car, how does it run? That's what I'm concerned. What kind of an engine does it have? But I still went through it, even though he was offended me a little bit. And Dad even laughed when the guy asked about the cup holders or mentioned about the cup holders. So we decided that day that Subaru Forester was a good fit for me. Daddy said, well, but do you want this color? And it was a blue one. And I was like, no, I didn't want a blue one. Blue one's fine, but it just really felt like a lot of the soccer moms in Ohio had a blue Forester. I said, I would love that gold color that was on a different Subaru. And I said, do you have that one? And they said, no, but we can order it for you. And it was interesting because Daddy brought up a good point that, you know, you don't think guys necessarily think of these. He goes, well, what color's the interior on the gold one? Because the ones that I'd been driving, the interior was tan, and so I presumed that's what the interior would be. And on a gold car, right? Gold, tan, they're kind of in the same family. And Daddy asked, and they said, oh yeah, it's a tan interior on the gold too. So we filled out the paperwork, and about 3 days later, my gold Subaru Forester with the tan interior was going to be delivered. Well, we get home that very evening, and this is before cell phones, and there was a voice message. It may have been like on an actual voice recording. There's a voice message, and Daddy called back the dealer, and they said, we just wanted to let you know that actually we just discovered or realized that the gold Subaru Forester has a gray interior. Now, I'm not hearing this. Daddy's on the phone, but I'll never forget him saying he's on the phone, and he's just like, And what I hear come out of his mouth was, you're kidding me. I wouldn't let that's so ugly, I wouldn't let my dog sleep on it. I didn't know what he meant at the time, but he was talking about the gray interior. And I'm not sure if it was that unappealing, but it definitely was unappealing to me and to him. And we don't even have a dog. But for him to say that, just at first I'm bewildered. I'm like, what is he talking about? And so he got off the phone and explained to me. And so we talked about it and decided that the green was the perfect one for me then. And a few days later, we went and picked her up. And here I am in my gray Subaru Forester 2002, the tan interior, and it's time to say goodbye to her. And it's just really hard because Daddy's helped me pick out every single car I've owned. And just making sure my microphone's turned on. Okay, good. And so to say goodbye to Susie with all our adventures, but then also that Daddy, this is the last car Daddy will have helped me pick out. Some growing pains here. But I just have to accept that it's time. I've cleared her out. My rollerblades. I had a St. Christopher medal that's meant for your car, a clip on the visor. I can still see the impression from it. And my Aunt Lois, Daddy's sister-in-law, had given me when I bought her. And it's been up there all 20 years. And it must have worked. Because I was safe. She's been good to me. Now my nephews are grown. No more turnaround day and no more sitting in my lap. And Daddy's up there saying, Princey, come on, you can do this. It's because I helped you pick out all your cars before. It's because we went through all those that you're ready and you can do this. So, thank you, Daddy. And thank you, Susie. What a long, strange trip it's been. A beautiful one. Thank you so much for watching the MaryLee Herrmann Show. And if you want to continue following my journey, I'd love it if you tap on the subscribe button.